Hey guys, my name is Matsumiel, and welcome to our episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. The first question for today comes from Sam, and it is, what are your thoughts on the recent announcement that loot boxes are being added into Rainbow Six Siege? Well, my initial reaction to it was, oh god, no. I despise loot boxes in basically every game that it comes out. There's a couple of exceptions, Overwatch isn't too bad, but for most multiplayer shooters, and it seems to be in every single multiplayer shooter now, I find loot boxes to be very manipulative. It's essentially gambling. They're trying to get you addicted, they want you to want to buy more and more and more, and it's something that I never wanted to see in Rainbow Six Siege. Now that I've learned about it a little bit more, it doesn't seem like it's going to be all that bad, and honestly, it actually might be a good thing for the game. So according to one of the Ubisoft developers, what it sounds like is this is not something that you're actually going to be able to buy with your real world money. It's either going to be something that you can win by just winning a match or by using your actual renown. The way that it works is that if you win a game, you have a chance of unlocking one of these loot boxes. If you aren't successful in unlocking it then, the next time you win, you have a higher percentage chance of unlocking it until, of course, you finally do so, and then it resets. And so what I like about this system is that it's just another incentive to win a match. Now, I know a lot of you guys want to win for the sake of winning. You want to increase your rank in rank. You want to get better. But there are people out there that if it's not going their way, they're just going to start team killing. I hear team killing is a serious issue right now on console, and this might be one subtle way. It's not going to completely solve the problem, let's be honest. This isn't going to solve everything entirely, but this could be one way that Ubisoft is trying to reward people for not being dicks, to try to get them to work together a little bit more so that they can win the match and potentially get this free loot box. If that is actually what they're going for, I gotta give a big tip of my hat to Ubisoft, because this is just a nice subtle way of going about it. Now, my worry about this, and I know I'm going to be very cynical here, is that this could just be their way of introducing us to loot boxes, and it's going to become a little bit more diabolical in the future, where it is going to start to become more pay to unlock these skins. So right now they introduced the loot box system, we're all really comfortable with it, and then maybe they allow us to start unlocking things with real world money. The next step is saying, oh, now we have these ultra rare skins that you can only unlock with these loot crates. I know I'm being very cynical, like, trust me, and I like the direction that they've taken things so far because everything seems to be free, but I would hate if that is actually the direction that they want to take for Rainbow Six Siege, because I've seen other games go down this path and I despise it. One thing that I do like about this, though, is that it sounds like we're going to have skins be available through loot boxes that are no longer purchasable with the in-game shop. So if you guys aren't aware, there are some skins that are no longer available. The Black Ice skin, which you guys are seeing right now for the MP5, was available during the Black Ice DLC. And so if you're someone new to the game who wasn't around when one of these time-sensitive skins were available, you now hopefully have a chance to unlock them with these loot crates. It's going to be a very small percentage because there's a lot of items in this game now. I mean, they've really gone crazy with the amount of customization options that we have right now. But if you wanted one of these skins, it sounds like it's going to be in the pool available for the loot crate, and you might get your hands on one of them. And so overall, I gotta say that I'm pleasantly surprised with the way that Ubisoft has handled these things. When I originally learned about it, I was a little depressed. I thought this was gonna be the worst thing ever. But from what we've learned so far, as long as things don't change dramatically in the future, I think this actually will be a good thing for Rainbow Six Siege. The next question is, what is your thoughts on the Ghost Recon Wildlands closed beta? Well, I will say that playing this game with friends is a hell of a lot of fun. Lining up kills, taking them down simultaneously, going about your mission however you want is really enjoyable, but the question that I have is, was the game fun because I was playing with friends, or was it enjoyable because the core mechanics are fun and it's going to be a fun single-player game? I don't really know right now, and I think only time will tell, and we need to have the full experience. One thing I was blown away by, though, is the sheer size of the map. This thing is gigantic, and because of just the size of it, it makes the world feel realistic. Like, it feels like you're stepping into this world, and it's not just a carnival ride. And while I got some problems with some of the AI, and we'll get to that here in a second, when you're just like scaling on a mountainside and you're making your way to a village, like, it actually feels like you're in this environment. It doesn't feel like it was hand-tailored. It does feel like you're just kind of stepping into this universe that they've created, and I gotta say that it's really impressive. Now, the downside of this is that while the size does accomplish this, the world itself and the environments that you encounter, while interesting and varied, don't really feel like they're alive and lived in. You do come across a lot of civilians. For some reason, civilians are constantly walking down dirt roads in the middle of nowhere, but when you actually get into a city, it doesn't really feel like it's a city. I don't know how to put my finger on it. When you play like games like Witcher or Grand Theft Auto, people are doing their own things. They're buying stuff. They're doing these actions. But a lot of times I would enter into a city, kill all the mercenaries, and then it would just be completely vacant. There wasn't anyone walking around. They weren't really doing a whole lot of things, and that was a bit of a turnoff. And while I realize that's probably because of the sheer size of what they're going for, like they have this gigantic map and they can only have so many NPCs in one area. I'm assuming that's the case. But a lot of times I just felt like I entered into a playground. I entered into this city or this region, and it didn't feel like a living, breathing world, and that was a bit of a downside for me. One thing I was impressed by, though, is the sheer amount of customization available. You want to change different components of your gun? You're going to have every ability to do that. You want to change the color of certain parts of your gun? It sounds like you're also going to have that option. You want to change your character's look from top to bottom? You're going to have that power as well. I also enjoyed the combats. Using a bolt-action rifle feels meaty. It's got bullet travel speed, it's got bullet drop, so you have to line these things up. It's got a bit of skill involved. The weapons have a fair amount of recoil, and while the AI does leave a bit to be desired, especially your AI when you're trying to command your units to do certain actions, it's a bit finicky. And maybe this is just because I didn't put enough time and I'll get more comfortable with the controls on how to control my unit and move them around the map. But the AI, while that does leave something to be desired, getting kills and shooting at, the bad guys did feel satisfying, and that was another thing that I did enjoy with the beta. All in all, though, I did have a lot of fun with Ghost Recon Wildlands. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. It does have its problems. It does feel a bit clunky. That might be due in part because of the closed beta, but this experience did make me more excited for the game, and I'm really interested to see what the full experience has to offer. The next question comes from David, and it is, do you think that they should add a delay to aiming and shooting after going prone in Siege, like in Battlefield, that way people can't drop shot? I don't know how I feel about drop shotting. I know there are people out there that despise this tactic to the very core of their being. It's the reason why they leave games like Call of Duty. I have friends that left that franchise because they were just sick and tired of the way that game played. They didn't like the sliding around. They didn't like people dropping to the ground whenever they got into a firefight because it just felt cheesy. It didn't feel really satisfying to fight against those players. We even had a problem with this in Battlefield for a really long time. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in Battlefield 2, dolphin diving was a serious problem. Everyone was just dolphin diving all over the place because it was a way to make yourself a harder target. That said, though, it's kind of a feature of Rainbow Six Siege. Ubisoft has kind of gone out of their way, and they even advertised the game saying that you will never really lose control of your character. There are very few situations in this game where you cannot shoot at the enemy. You vault through a doorway, you can shoot at someone. You rappel and fly on in, you can do that as well. And by changing different stances, you still keep that control. It's something that I've always loved about this game. It allows you to be tactical, allows you to be aggressive when you need to be aggressive, and so that's something that I've always appreciated. And so when we get into the territory of drop shotting, on the one hand, it's nice because if you need to go prone for whatever reason and you want to continue to shoot while you go prone, you're going to want to have that. But on the other side, I can absolutely see where you're coming from, where it's just frustrating to encounter these players. It is worth mentioning, though, that there are some players that actually enjoy fighting against someone who does drop shots. I have friends that actually like fighting against these people who employ this tactic because it pretty much guarantees that they're going to get a headshot on someone. Yes, it does make them a harder target if you're only going for body shots, but if you are precise with your accuracy and you're only going for headshots, well, it's one bullet, as we all know, is king. Headshots are king. You're going to be able to drop that enemy no problem whatsoever. And so I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think that Ubisoft should do something to stop drop-shotting? Personally, I'm not all that bothered by it because it doesn't happen very often to me. Like I said, I just basically aim at their face. It makes it pretty easy to take them out. But of course, I'm only just one guy on the internet. And so would you like to see something done to drop-shotting? Do you think it's perfect the way that it is right now because you like the control? You like the way that Ubisoft allows you to have control of your character at all times? Give me your thoughts down below. But yeah, guys, that is it for today's episode of Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed in today's video. Did you really enjoy the closed beta of Ghost Recon Wildlands? Are you really excited about the introduction of loot boxes in Rainbow Six Siege? As always, if you would like to submit your own question for an upcoming episode, you can always leave a comment or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.